Dyson Daniels, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Glad to be here.
Mate, thank you so much for coming in.
No worries.
It's
I'm
huge.
looking forward to it. So.
I'm very excited. We've been wanting to do this for ages. We were talking, I think a few months ago when you were over in the States.
Yeah, I think like December maybe was the first time you hit me up. So yeah, it's been a while. But
was that a little bit weird? Just, did you get like sort of 29-year-old sort of like receding hairline bloke sliding into the DMs?
I get a few requests, so it's not weird. But I knew about this before. You hit me up, so
oh wow.
I was excited to when you hit me up that I'd be able to get the opportunity to get on.
Mate, I really appreciate it, and I think fast forward in 12 months, I think we'll. You won't be saying that about me anymore. Don't worry about that. Hey, honoured to get you in. Super pumped, super excited to have a chat today. What's going on at the moment? You're back in Australia. You're obviously living in the States at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for me, I'm in off-season right now pretty much, but I'm not really off-season because I'm preparing for the draft. So we finished our season like 3 weeks ago, and then I flew back to Australia about 2.5 weeks ago. So for me, it's just, working on things on the court that I need to work on, preparing for the draft, tightening up my handle, my shot, getting stronger in the gym and just catching up with family and friends and stuff. So, chilling out a little bit while I'm home, but also like staying in shape. So
yeah, we're looking good, looking real good. I cannot believe, we obviously watched a heap of your highlights, which go over a very long time. It's a good mixtape, but I just can't believe how big you are.
Yeah, I've grown a lot. So I think, since I was with Ignite, I think I went there August, I was like 6'5" and got to 6'7" now. So, I've grown a lot. So
that's crazy. Because you're a point guard?
Yeah, I'm a point guard.
And you're like nearly 200 centimeters.
Yeah, so 200 on the dot right now.
You're 200 on the dot?
200 on the dot. So it helps. It helps being a point guard, I tell you that. Yeah.
That's massive, man. Because that's like give us a bit of an insight into that. And I'm sure a lot of people would know, but what average height for a point guard is normal?
Yeah, obviously the point guard's the smallest position on the floor. Yeah. So really it varies. Obviously, I think now in today's NBA, the average would have gone up because, teams are looking for bigger guards. But, it would have been probably around 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", I reckon, for the average height for the point guard. But I think the average height in the NBA now is 6'4", 6'5". So I'm above the average height. It just, gives you, being able to see over like smaller defenders. If you have a tight handle, able to take, defenders down to the post. I think it's just an advantage, having height and, having the skill level as well. So, for me, I've been blessed with this height, so just being able to, use it to my advantage is, what I try to do.
I suppose as well, correct me if I'm wrong, but playing smaller, learning how to handle, learning how to play like a midfielder per se in like a football sort of sense, and then you grow and you still have those skills. You probably couldn't be happy with how it's all played out.
Well, that's how it worked out for me. Through my juniors, I was small, and I was always a guard. I was one of the smaller guys on the team, and through probably 18s is when I started to shoot up, and I already had the skills that a guard has. So being able to, just grow and keep those skills, it just helped me, and it's taken me a long way so far. So, being a big guard, it's an advantage, and I'm blessed to have this height, like I said.
Yeah. Well, look, there's a lot more hard work that goes into it than luck, that's for sure. Just at the moment as well, you're living in California, is that right?
Yeah.
What's that like? How are you enjoying that?
It was good. I was in Walnut Creek, which is a little town just outside of the Bay Area, about 30-minute drive from San Francisco. So it was a nice town. Not much to do there, but being a basketball, you don't really get much time off. You're always flying everywhere and playing games. So for me, it was just a good place to go chill. And when I head back, I'll be in LA, so it'll be a bit more full on, out there. I know a few more people out there, which would be good. So, but I enjoyed the spot I had. I had a nice apartment to myself, so. I was able to, do some boy things and, just have time to myself, which is good.
That would be enjoyable, very enjoyable. Let's go back because I think it's going to be good to paint your picture to get to where you are now. Obviously, grew up in Australia, grew up in Bendigo, of all places. It's not probably like the first place you'd think our next NBA star is going to come from. What was it like growing up in Bendigo, and why Bendigo?
Not
that you had much probably choice in the matter.
I was born and raised in Bendigo, so I lived in Bendigo till I was 16 years old, and I guess, my dad played basketball out in Bendigo, and that's where I met my mum, and, they decided to stay out there. So, we grew up in Bendigo, me and my brothers, playing juniors through Bendigo, footy in Bendigo, everything was through Bendigo pretty much. So, and then when I was 16, I moved to Canberra at the AIS with the NBA Academy there. So, pretty much, being a country boy, I love to, do country things. When whenever I get out on the farm with some of my mates, you know, around the sheep up, you know, shear the sheep, I did all that stuff. So, I mean, you wouldn't expect a basketball to come out of there, but, you know, it was a lot of hard work. And, yeah, like I said, you know, I come from a basketball background, so I always enjoyed playing basketball growing up. You know, I started when I was 5, so I still love it today.
It's funny, isn't it? Like a lot of, you know, I suppose your teammates and like mates in the US have this idea of what Australians like.
Yeah.
And you've actually probably been one of the only guys that's actually lived that country life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I go over to America and try to explain some things that you do in Australia, and they just got no idea what's going on here. So they think it's a flat country with, you know, all these spiders, snakes and stuff. And you just got to be careful of animals and stuff like that. But I mean, Australia's a great country, and, you know, living in America and living in Australia, like home's home, and, you know, I love it here. So whenever I get the opportunity to come back, you know, I'll be in Australia.
It's awesome. And your old man was a OG at the Braves,
yes.
Bendigo Braves. He was the MVP there as well. So are you.
Yeah.
So you've always got that big connection with that team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Dad played like 10 years at Bendigo. You know, got his jersey retired in that stadium. So, you know, he was a huge influence on me growing up, and, you know, just to be able to, you know, share the court with him, you know, a few times in A-grade men there down at Bendigo was, you know, special. And, you know, he's a big inspiration to me growing up.
Did you play a bit of footy in Bendigo?
I did. I played about 6 years of footy. So, I mean, I really enjoyed my footy. And then come to a stage, I think I was top age 16s, where I had to choose footy or basketball. And, you know, I went with basketball, which I think worked out. But I really enjoyed my footy. So I love watching it. I'm a big Richmond supporter. So, you know, I really do enjoy my footy.
This is the interesting part for me, because I think the last like 3-4 years, basketball has just taken off in Australia. Like you've seen what we've done, like the boomers have been able to do, like Paddy Mills, Ingles, and Josh Giddey as well. I'm sure we'll get into talking about him later. But I feel like it's just grown so much, especially at the NBL, like how good that has sort of become. What was your choice around playing NBL versus going to the States? Yeah,
I mean, it was a tough choice for me to, you know, leave my home country of Australia, you know, having the options on the table to be able to play in the NBL, obviously. It's a really good pathway for, like you're seeing, you know, the LaMelo Balls and RJ Hampton stuff come through the NBL program, which, you know, is big. And I think for me, my goal was the NBA, and, you know, being able to get past the high school, and then the next step, whether it be college, you know, the pro level, you know, that's the biggest step to take to, you know, be able to get to the next level. And for me, I wanted to choose something that, you know, I was going to be comfortable in, but it was also going to help benefit me. And I felt you got to have confidence in yourself, you know, being able to take this route, because if it doesn't work out, then you can't go back to college. But so for me, it was a tough decision, but I felt like, you know, playing in the G League, you're playing against NBA players, you know, that are on 2-way contracts. You get more exposure over there, because, you know, that's where all the scouts are. You know, there's a 48-minute game. There's the NBA length court, NBA ball, NBA length three-point line. So everything about it is associated with the NBA, and, you know, they're there to help us get to the next level. We had veterans on our team and young guys, and the veterans were there, like they were paid money to help us develop. I guess looking at it, you know, it's going to be hard for it to go wrong. You know, if you put in the work, you know, it's going to work out for you. And I felt like going over there, you know, I had the right mindset, had the right mentality, and for me, the ultimate goal of being in the NBA, I think, you know, it was a no-brainer, you know, taking this path, because, you know, it's just too good to, you know, turn down. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. And that's like, we look at sport in Australia, and there's one pathway, right? Like everyone just goes through that same pathway and you get going. But sometimes it's hard when you have choices. Right. Like it's like the hardest thing to do, because you've got NBL, college, G League, whatever you want to do. Like you've got to try and narrow in and work out which one's best for you. And I love your decision, because it's probably the hardest one to have made, really. Like to go, you could have followed a lot of guys that have gone to college. You could have followed a lot of the guys you've seen, like Giddey, go to NBL and do really well out of it. But you want to forge your own path.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, this is a very new program. You know, the Ignite, I was there. It's only its second year there, so there's only like 5-6 spots for the young guys as well. And just knowing that they're there to help us get to our dream of the NBA. You know, it helped in my choice, obviously, but obviously it was a tough decision to turn down NBL as well, because you know, this is my home country. You know, playing in front of my home fans and stuff like that. You know, it was a tough decision, but at the end of the day, the NBL teams and coaches, they're paid to win games. They're gonna put the players on the floor that's gonna win you the game, and if you're not in the best, you know, 5, 6, 7 players, then you're not going to be on the floor. So I guess it's probably more of a risk taking the NBL program to what I took, but you know, everything that I did over there paid off, and you know, worked out. So I'm glad I took the G League route.
Can you explain that Ignite team? Because it's pretty crazy like how that's been created. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like a team made of like some ex sort of players that are older to bring through some of the best talent in the G League. Is that right?
Yeah. So we had 6 young guys like that were like, I guess, top prospects from where they're from, and coming together with 5 veterans. Like we had Pujita, who's played NBA, Kevin Murphy, Amir Johnson, Jesse Govan, Dakari Allen. Those guys, they've been around a long time. So I guess their roles in the team are to help us develop. And I think the good thing that we had with our team was a very competitive environment. So everyone was pushing each other at training to get better. And it can be tough having 6 young guys trying to get to the NBA, putting them in a team and saying, here, work it out. You got to, because I think everyone had to sacrifice something to, have the team succeed, but also themselves showcase what they can do to be able to get to the NBA. So it was tough at first. I think, the first few games, we didn't really gel together, but once we realized that if we're going to, be able to succeed as a team, we're all going to have to sacrifice something. And for me, I felt like that was my scoring. I sacrificed my scoring to, be able to play make for others and show my defensive ability. But I think, once we the last like 10, 15 games, once we figured out what our team wanted and, what we had to do to be able to succeed as a team, it all gelled together and, we started to play well.
How hard is that, like, in that environment? Like, I can remember going to get drafted myself and you think, like, fuck, I can do the team thing here and sacrifice my game. Is it going to actually get noticed, or do I just go out and try and play my best? Like, it's hard. It's
tough because, you don't want to sacrifice anything. You want to show everything you can do, but then at the end of the day, the scouts, they're smart. They know that you can't do everything on a team like this, or it's just not going to work. So I think, it worked out for me just being able to, show my IQ as a point guard and, impact the game in different ways. So, I mean, it was tough at first. If you watch our first few games, they weren't pretty, but, our coaching staff did a really good job of, keeping us together and, getting everyone in positions to succeed.
Yeah. I don't know if this will make sense, but, like in Australia, maybe Australian basketball, there's this like idea of like culture in teams and like getting around each other, that like toughness that maybe is known in the US. I'm not sure. Yeah. Was it hard? Like, when you're playing in the G League and NBA, and I know you're not there yet, but very soon will be, are the teams as tight as that? Or is it more just system run and you're playing with the best players?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you look at US basketball and you see more highlight plays, ISO plays, transition and stuff like that. And then you look at Australia and it's very team orientated. And I think you look at the Boomers and why they're so successful is they have a great culture and just everyone wants to play for each other and win for each other. And the ball moves, they play team defense and stuff like that. And heading over to America, like, it's still team orientated, but like they got better athletes there and they got people who want to show what they can do, handle the ball, dribble it 1,000 times and then, take a crazy shot. But I think that's coming from Australia and the NBA Academy where we're taught to play the team system. Over there, it really helped me because I was able to talk my teammates through like how we want to play, how we have to play to succeed. And being the point guard, that's what you got to do. You got to show leadership. And I think, once we got that down pat, we're able to play better. But you do see the Australian basketball system. Like, I love playing it because the ball just moves, the team's on a string, like everything's so tight. And I think, that's the way that basketball should be played. And you see in the NBA, teams that, are starting to succeed more, like the Phoenix Suns have a very tight group and, able to, play together. Yeah. So I think Australian basketball has definitely impacted, on the international stage.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's massive that it's like taken, seriously like that, because you think like that, cliche saying it's a champion team, not a team of champions, like
exactly
correlating through. One thing I'd like to talk about, and I love this in, basketball, and I've seen some really cool tapes of you doing this, is when in football or in like anything really, it's like a pre-season, you do it together.
Yeah.
But one thing I've always been really curious on is like the training you guys do, you sort of do it a lot separately, don't you? Like you have your own team that you work with.
Right.
Is that right?
So, it is right. Like off seasons and whenever, like right now I'm doing individual workouts with a coach, but like I have my team supporting me. Like I have my agent, have my family. I have like a few guys that will come in and work out with me, but I got the same coach, the same strength and conditioning coach, that's my team that, I'm working with to, develop. And then I guess it's basically like your season's done, you go off with your team, you develop, what you need to work on, and then you come back to the actual team and, you gel it all together. Whereas, like a footy, they're always together, and working as a team that way. So I think it is different, but I like our basketball setup because personally I like to be in the gym my own with just the coach and working on specific things that I need to work on that you might not be able to do when you're with a team environment.
And that high performance coach that you have, that's not from the team, that's your own coach you've sourced yourself.
Yeah, so for me, I got D-Mac, who's with Melbourne United, and I love working with him because he just knows what I need. He pushes me to the limits, and I want him in my team, and if I didn't want him, then I could go move on to someone else. But I want him. He helps me to get to where I need to be, and I think that's just a good thing. With having a tight circle and just knowing what you need to be able to perform at the next level.
What does your training schedule look like? Like what sort of things are you doing, like in the gym, as you've said? Is it like shooting? Like what's like your main 3 things you're really focusing on?
So right now, because I'm in off season, it's not as heavy, but it's still work every day. Like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm in Melbourne working out with my D-Mac, who's my on-court coach, and Jay, who's my strength coach. So I'm trying to put on size before the draft. So I'm doing 2 hours of work on the floor and then an hour in the gym after, just killing the body, just trying to put on size. And then the 3 days I have off, so Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll get on the shooting machine and just get 1,000 shots up on that day. Saturday I'll be on the shooting machine as well, and do a bit of ball handling. So my off days are basically just shooting, and the other 4 days that I'm in Melbourne, I'm working hard, getting a sweat up, working on things I need to work on. And then Sunday's my rest day, I just chill out a little bit, go recover. So
Fuck. With that the training system like that, I feel like you get such a mental edge out of it.
Yeah.
Because when not just talking about footy, but it's what I know and what a lot of people would know is you work together, you can go off and do your own stuff. But when you're working purely by yourself and you don't know what anyone else is doing, you can play so many, I can imagine the mind games you play with yourself. For
sure. For me, if I don't work out one day, it hurts my mind because I know that someone else is out there getting better than me that day if I don't work. So, I have to make sure that I have a basketball in my hand doing at least something every day to help me be better because, like you said, it's all a mental game, and playing basketball, playing footy, it's tough. It's tough mentally because it's so repetitive, and you just got to find something to keep you going every day. But I think having goals, is what helps me do that. But I think like I said, if I don't pick up a basketball every day and put in some sort of work, then it hurts me mentally because I know that someone else is doing that, trying to be better than me. So I think, for me, it's just making sure I have a basketball in my hand every day and, just being the best I can, doing something every day to help me, be better.
Fuck, it's huge. It's exciting. I'm getting goosebumps. The draft, it's coming up.
Yeah.
It's exciting times. Talk us through how that works. What's the system in place? You've got your agent. You're obviously working hard at the moment trying to improve what you got to improve. Are you in contact with clubs? Does your agent do the club stuff? Do you have meetings with them?
Yeah, so basically, my agent does all the talking for me, so I can just focus on basketball. But coming to the draft, we're 2 months out. 2 and a bit months out, and focusing. Once May 17 comes around, I'll have more of an idea of which team has which pick because the lottery will be done. But for me, it's just focusing on what I need to work on, getting better for the draft, and then I'm gonna head back over to America April 20, where I'll start to pick up my training again. But the agent does all the talking for me, and then once it comes draft time and I know which team has which picks, we'll be able to decide which teams we go work out for and which picks we're going to aim for to try get. And but I mean, that's why you got to trust your agent because he's going to be talking on your behalf, and I got a really good agent, Daniel Moldovan. But for me, it's just working as hard as I can right now to be better, and let him do the talking. But like I said, once we get closer, I'll have more of an idea of which team I want to be at.
Unbelievable. So when it gets closer, as I said, there's a lottery, which teams, then they get their picks, and for then you have no idea where that could possibly be. But say there's a pick you're going to, it could be within 3 picks. Would you go and train with those sort of 3 teams around that area?
Yeah. So I guess just say your number 1 pick, you're probably going to go work out for, there's the mock drafts which have you in certain spots, so you have an idea of where you are. But if you're the first pick, then you probably only work out for 3 teams. team guys pick 1, 2, and 3, maybe 3. If you want to go pick one, then you just work out for them. So you can kind of, vary who you work out for and stuff like that. But for me, being around, the 10 mark now, I'm in a pretty good position. So, if there's a team that's 9 that, has 6 guards that's, I'm not going to be able to play for, then there's no point in me going and working out for them because I don't want to be on that team. So,
so you just say to them, no.
Agents just says stuff for you. Like, don't take him. We're not going to send him to work out for you. So, you can kind of vary like which teams you work out for and stuff like that. But I'm sure I'll be working out with a few teams, but I'm not sure which teams I'll be at because I don't know who has which.
Of course, picks. At the moment, like again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but is there a team in mind that you're going like I could fit into that team next year?
I think probably like Sacramento, Spurs. I think teams that maybe need a bit of guard, like a guard that's going to help them, and teams that play a team system as well. Look at those two type of teams like the Spurs, the Warriors, the Kings. It's just to name a few. They play more of a team style. Greg Popovich has been the coach for however many years, and he's played the same style. So I know that if I play in that team, I'm going to benefit because that's the style I like to play. That's the style I'll fit in with, and I think. Whatever team picks me up on the day, I'm going to be happy with because my dream as a kid was to be in the NBA. But, there's a few teams that, I could probably say I'll probably fit better with them. But, at the end of the day, being in the NBA, you got to work to, earn your spot in there anyway. And I think, that's the main thing, just, staying humble and, putting in the work every day to be better.
I love that mentality. And I know you're coming across very humble right now, which I respect, but I know there's like a killer mentality that like is in your head at the moment. Like I can see it. Mm-hmm. So like when you get to that club, you're just gonna be like fuck off. Like this is my spot now.
The good thing is with workouts when you go work out with for teams, there's probably going to be 5 or 6 players there that you're working out with, and if there's a guy there that's your same position, so that's maybe sitting 6th on like a mock draft, like you'd be like, I'm coming for your head. I'm fucking better than you. Like you got to have that arrogance to you, but you also got to have the humbleness. And I think for me, the way I play basketball is, I like to, get under people's skin a little bit. My main role is a defender. I like to get under people's skin. Make life tough for them. So I guess I love to trash talk a little bit as well when I'm on the floor. So it's a competitive game, and you got to have fun with it. So I think you got to have that a little bit of arrogance to you as well. When you go in there, because you put in all this work, and if you're just going to sit there and lay back the whole time, then that's cool. But maybe someone else is more vocal than you, and he's taking your spot. But for me, I am a humble guy, but I guess quietly, I like to, trash talk and, have my arrogance about me too.
You got to have that if you want to be good.
Exactly. You got to believe in yourself, and, sometimes you got to let it out. Yeah.
How, I imagine like that one-on-one with guys you're competing with to get on the squad, right? Like that's a big one.
Yeah.
But I can imagine as well, there'd be a lot of older guys on the team that, you're coming for their spot.
Yeah.
And this team wants you to come in and take that. Like that would be also like a battle that you got to face as well.
For sure. You walk into a team, there's going to be players that have been there 1 year, there's going to be players that have been there 10 years. So, they're going to have the relationship with the coach, and I guess you just got to go in there and say, nah, that's my spot. I'm going at you. I'm taking it up to you. I'm going to take your spot. And that's the mentality you got to have. And I think the good thing about being in the NBA is no one's going to take that personally. Everyone's fighting for their spot. Yeah. There's so many people coming in and out of NBA teams this day. No one's safe unless your name's LeBron James. But I guess you just got to have a mentality of every day I'm going at your head. I'm going to kill you, or it's a business. So if you're not doing your job, then out you go.
Yeah, well, I wish I had your mentality when I was 18, because like I literally, I used to rock up and be like, oh fuck, I'll wait my turn. Yeah. Like 2 years, 3 years, I'll just wait here, and all of a sudden, 4 years go by and you're in the same spot.
Exactly.
It's like that mentality. You rip up your birth certificate as soon as you walk in there, and it's it.
And I've played on teams like even through my juniors that. I've seen kids come in and like, I'm not saying I'm a big name, but like they might take a backward step and be like, oh, I don't want to guard him. I'm going to go guard him.
Yeah.
But then I've seen kids come in and be like, I'm going at you. I'm going to give it my best shot. If you beat me, you're better than me, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So I think, having that mentality is, key.
Yeah. What's your relationship with Josh Giddey, or maybe even just what you've seen him be able to do this year? Like, has that given you confidence? Has that given you,
we're close. We were at the NBA Academy for a year together. So, we're close. I was able to catch up with him a few times while we were in America, and just seeing him go through the process that he went through last year that I'm about to go through, it drives me to be better. And I mean, obviously he's not the most athletic guy, the best shooter, and being able to take pick six just shows that teams are looking for people with good IQs, because Josh has a really good IQ. And I guess he's just someone that I can talk to and, get some advice from, going through this process. And yeah, Josh has had a phenomenal year, and sitting down on the couch last year, watching him get drafted, just motivated me to, want to be there next year. And I think, every time, it gets tough, I just have that in the back of my head, like this guy, being at the draft, get your name called out one day. That's been a dream of mine since I was born. So, it's good to, be close with him, and, have a few, people I'm close with in the NBA that I'm able to talk to. So, I guess, it's just good to have them in your corner.
Yeah. Who are some of the guys that you look to as mentors, maybe in the NBA at the moment, that you look to and have conversations with about that?
Yeah. So Josh Giddey, Joe Ingles, I've talked to Matisse Thybulle a fair bit. And then there's also Dally, who's here in the NBL now, Matthew Dellavedova. So they're probably the main guys that I talk to, the Australians, that have my back as well. And I think, like you said, the Boomers have such a good culture, and they just know they know people who are coming through the ranks. They know everyone, and they're really invested in Australian basketball, which is really good for the junior pathway coming through, because you know that the seniors have your back.
Yeah, the Boomers make my heart smile. It feels like it's just the best bunch of people in that. It makes you proud to be Australian, watching them go. And I want to talk about that, but before we do, there's one part that I was thinking before, and I don't think you'll have any trouble with this whatsoever, but how do you have you thought about, kid from Bendigo going to play NBA, and you go to the NBA and you're going to be international loan, it's going to blow up, it's going to be absolutely incredible. Firstly, you have to remember me. Secondly, it's how have you thought about, is it hard to stay grounded in that situation? Not that you're going to get ahead of yourself or anything like that, but more just going, fuck, it's hard not to get taken away, because you are literally massive.
Exactly. I mean, even now I'm not in NBA and I go back home, everyone knows me out there. So for me, it's not hard, because, I'm a humble guy. I love to, kick it with my friends, catch up with people that, I grew up with. So I think, some people can, get ahead of themselves and be like, I'm better than you, that mentality. But I don't have that mentality. I have the mentality of everyone's equal. And for me, I just got God-gifted talents, and, I've taken them, and gone and worked with them to, be in the position I am today. But, I'm a humble guy. Whenever I'm back in Bendigo, I acknowledge anyone that comes up to me. I'll take a photo, I'm a sign an autograph, that sort of stuff. So, I'm a humble guy, and, being from Bendigo, I just want to help inspire people to, be like me, and, just take the next steps, and, just continue to push yourself, and have the mentality of you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it. So.
There's I think you said you got a God-given talent, which I can agree with, but I think there's a lot of hard work there. I don't want to undersell that, but yeah, it's interesting. I was just thinking then about what you're saying with being humble, and I totally agree. But is it right that there has to be nearly a point as well? I'm contradicting myself with the next question, because I'm saying you have to nearly be misunderstood, and you nearly probably have to cut a few, not cut people, but you have to narrow your focus. You hear of guys the best players in the world, Kobe Bryant, and people oh, this guy, I don't understand him, but to get that good, you have to be like that. Yeah,
I think it is. It's important to keep your close circle, and know who's in your close circle. And obviously I got a few close friends. My family's in there, my agent. People who I really trust are in my close circle, and going through, there's a lot of money involved. So people are going to keep coming in, maybe that, but you don't know as well, that, they want to get a little bit of money out of you, and they want to get into your close circle. And sometimes, you just got to, push them away a little bit, because, you know what they're trying to achieve off you, and what your goals are. But for me, I have my close circle. I know who's in it. And then I know who to go to if I have something that I need dealt with, so I think it's important to know who you trust, and then obviously you don't want to just be stuff you to some people, but some people need that, because they try hard to get something out of you or get something off you. So
you've fucking absolutely nailed it. Like I wish I knew that at your age, because I'm like just working that shit out now. You know? So you've got a really good head on your shoulders, and I'm excited to see you dominate over there. And as I said, just Dyl Friends in that close circle would be really nice to stay. Really nice to stay in that size circle.
Yes, sir, for sure.
NBA players, give us, like, we love a name drop here. Give us some guys that you've sort of like crossed paths with on the court, firstly, or even just off the court. Like any guys take you on their wing, you know, take you to some nightclubs, or who would you model your game off in the NBA?
Yeah, so I think, you know, I wouldn't say any NBA players have really taken me under their wing, but, you know, I think...
They're probably scared.
Yeah.
And worried.
But I had a teammate of mine, Pooh Jeter, who he's 38 now. I'm sorry if you're younger than that, but like he was on my team. He took me under his wing as soon as I came in, knowing that, you know, I'm from another country, I'm young, you know, it might be tough, you know, transitioning here. And like he took me under his wing straight away. And for the entire season, he had my back. You know, he plays the same position as me, so he was able to teach me so much. I learned so much of him. And, you know, just to be able to communicate to him and know that, you know, he has my back and, you know, I got his back was special, because it is tough, you know, moving to a whole new country on your own when you're at such a young age, and just knowing that he had my back the whole time was, you know, it was great for me. And obviously, you know, I've talked to a few NBA players like I named before, and like I have my agent and a few agents in my in Octagon who I'm with, you know, that take me under their wing and take me out for a bit of fun sometimes. So, you know, that's always good. And I think, you know, it's important being able to, you know, have those type of people, you know, when you move across countries, and because, you know, it can be tough to, you know, make friends sometimes, especially in the basketball world when you're not really set anywhere, you're just flying all over all the time. So I think, you know, just making sure that, you know, you have those type of people that are able to have fun with, but also, you know, have your back. It's
probably something as well, like you mentioned that then and before, that I was thinking about, is like, this life of an NBA player seems super glamorous, but you are literally just flying everywhere all the time.
It's tough. Like, I didn't play an NBA season this year, but I played half of what an NBA season looks like, and it's like, people don't understand how tough it is. Like on like mentality, like the mentality you have to have, and you know, it really does, you know, affect your mind if you're not in the right spot. And I think NBA players are so mentally tough. The things they have to deal with every night, you know, whether it be abuse, you know, in the game, people are going to hate you no matter what when you're up that high. You know, even if you do everything right, people are going to find something to, you know, pick out and, you know, hate on you for. So you have to be so mentally tough. And for me, you know, I've copped it as well, and I just block it out. I think that's the best thing for me. If you block it out, ignore it, then they don't, like, I see tweets, I see like people tag me and things on Insta that I don't want to see, but if I don't like reply to it, I don't like it or anything, like they can't see that I've seen it. So they're basically just wasting their time. But like, you have to be so mentally tough to be able to play, you know, in any sport at high level, because, you know, there's so much coming at you, whether it be good, bad, you know, like there's just so much that you have to deal with.
Look at like what Ben Simmons had to go through like last year with like the, you know, the Philly like saga, like that seemed unbelievable. Like the stress that he would have been under.
It's tough. And the worst thing for him was he was in Philadelphia, which is one of the hardest places to play, because, you know, the fans there, they will come at you. And, you know, he, you know, whether he dealt with it in the right way or the wrong way, you know, that's not my thing to say. Yeah. But, I mean, you just got to be so mentally tough to be able to play sport these days.
Yeah. I have a theory on Ben Simmons. I think he's at like this point. I really don't watch basketball at all. Like, so this could be fucking totally wrong. But I have this theory that he is like at this point that maybe he hasn't handled things the right way, but I feel like he'll realise that and then explode. Yeah,
for sure. He's still young. He's still so young. He's still got so much room for growth, and he's going to learn from this. And now that he's been through this, like, it's only up from here for him. So he's in a new setting, a new team that, you know, he should be he should be able to, you know, excel in because of the plays they have. And for him, you know, he's going to be able to learn from everything that he's been through this year and just, you know, shoot up next year.
The Boomers, is that something that you want to be playing?
Definitely. You know, anything for my country, that I'll do anything for my country. And to be able to be a part of that group, you know, I played for the Boomers just in a qualifying game, but I know I was with a coach named Adam Caporn, who was the assistant coach of the Boomers, and he'd always come back from like their World Cups, their Olympics, and he'd tell stories of just the culture that they had and like everything about the Boomers is it's just so good that I just want to be a part of it one day. And, you know, hopefully the World Cup next year or the Olympics in 3 years, you know, I'll be a part of that because, you know, what the Boomers have built and the culture that they have, you know, it can't be destroyed.
Yeah. Do you speak to, like, have you spoke to people like Andrew Gaze and stuff like that before? Like, do they come and talk at those sort of things? Like, we've had Gaze on the show and, like, he nearly cries when he talks about the Boomers, like, every time.
Yeah, I've spoken to Gaze. Not too much about that, but like Adam Capehorn, like Paddy Mills and stuff I've spoken to just about the Boomers culture. And yeah, I've seen it. Like, you can see it, like how tight they are as a group, everything they do together. I spoke to Matisse Thibault, who, you know, coming from America, he didn't really grow up in Australia, but he was in America, and he just said, like, he was just so wowed about the culture that they had and like how they brought him in and how they were so welcoming. And obviously, you know, you can be that nice, but on the floor they're just dogs. You know, they want to play for they have their whole country behind their back, and they know that, and they want to go out there and do everything they possibly can to, you know, get a gold medal. So I'm sure that gold medal's coming, and even that bronze was so special because, you know, Boomers hadn't had a medal in a long time, but that bronze was so special to the whole country, and especially, you know, the Boomers culture.
Yeah, super exciting. Goals for next year, do you set them? Have you got them in your mind? Is there something you can share with us, or is it like, do you visualize like what you want to get out of the season next year?
To be honest, I have long-term goals and I have really short-term goals. Like, I mean, really short, like I plan for what my next day is going to be. Like, I'll sit down at night. I won't write anything down, but I'll just put it through my head. This time I'm gonna wake up. This time I'm gonna go work out. This time, you know, I'm gonna get something to eat. Like, I visualize that the night before, but obviously my long-term goals is, you know, to be in the green room of the NBA draft. So I think that's the top 14 or top 18 maybe of like people that actually get to be at the draft on the night where they announce the name and you go up on stage and stuff. So being at the green room, you know, that's one of my long-term goals, and the long-term goal is to be a starter in the NBA. So be able to start for a team, and then the longest one I have is to be an all-star. So I mean, those are three that I have at the moment, but obviously there's like more things that I want to be able to achieve, but, you know, I don't like to have too many goals. I like to, you know, focus on, you know, like the little things.
Is there, like we talk about this a lot with athletes, and I'm sure you do this because of the way you've spoken today, but do you do much like mindset training as well? Like what are you putting between your ears? Because the way you talk is like, for someone your age is incredible. Yeah,
so for me at the NBA Academy, we did mindfulness 2 days a week. So, I mean, it's not much, but for me, you know, just going through that and realizing like how much it can really refresh your mind.
So what do you do with that? Like, is it meditation or just like?
So I got this app on my phone that, you know, I sit down and, you know, it plays like a dude talking in the background with some nice music, and basically just lay on my back and listen to what he does, like deep breaths, like that sort of stuff. And I do that 4 times a week. I make sure I get 4 times a week of that in. You know, I usually like to do it after a training session. You know, just, you know, come back down to earth and just relax the body a little bit. And, you know, I find it really helps me. Like I said, being a basketball is mentally tough, and I feel like it just mentally refreshes, you know, the mind. So, you know, I really enjoy doing my mindfulness.
Is it, like, I'm just thinking about this now. Is there a time when you thought like this wouldn't happen? Like, do you think back and think, fuck, like I'm here now, I'm setting myself up for this? Was it like, did you ever lose confidence?
Yeah, there was one point at the start of the G League season that the first 3 games, like I thought, like I trained for 2 months with the G League team going into the first game, and I thought I was in a good position. You know, I was doing well at training, and then like we had no practice matches, we hadn't played against anyone, we were just training together, and like bang, the first game, I think I had like 7-8 turnovers, 3 points, like I shot the ball bad, and like I was just getting punked out there. And for me, you know, that was tough because I thought, is this the right choice? You know, people in Australia, or everyone in Australia is seeing this, like they wanted me to stay at Australia and play in the NBL. And for me, it was all, I stayed off social media that whole week. And then the next 2 games, they got a little bit better, but I was really struggling out there to bring the ball up. And for me, Rod Strickland, like an NBA veteran, you know, like one of the greatest NBA, you know, guards of all time. He was with our team, and he was like, these are the things you have to work on if you're going to be able to play here. And for me, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get in the gym early. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to get in there early. I'm going to get shots up. I'm going to be in there before practice. I'm going to work on these things that he's telling me, which was my ball handling, tightening up. And then it was being able to get in the gym, be stronger to deal with the physicality. And once we didn't have a game for another week after those 3. And like I was just in the gym for so many hours, like that whole week, just working on these things that I needed to be better at to be able to perform at the next level. And like the next game, I went out there and, you know, I put some of them into play, and, you know, I felt comfortable. Like I just felt like I belonged out there. And like that whole week was so tough because I was so hard on myself. I was like, you need to be able to bet at this if you want to play at this level. And from there, you know, I just got so much more confidence in myself, and I was able to build and build and build. And then towards the end of the season, you know, I like to say I was killing it, but you know, I'm a humble guy, but I felt like I was doing well. I was doing really well out there. Like, and now just looking back at like the growth that I had in that season, you know, it was huge. And, you know, big shout out to, you know, Rod Strickland and Thomas Scott, who really helped me, you know, in that tough week that I was getting killed, and, you know, just able to go out there and, you know, change my ways.
So that's like a turning point. Does anything stand out in that season where you like went, you know what, fuck, I can do this? Like, is there a game that stands out, or an opponent that you beat where you're like, this is giving me the most flow state?
It was the 4 preseason game. We had 4 preseason games, which were the first games that I wasn't great at, and then the first game, which was probably, I'd say, a month after the 4 preseason games, and I think I went out there, like, had 23 points, like 6 rebounds, like 4 assists or something. And I was like, all right, I can play at this level. I still have so much growth to do. You know, I'm going to continue to work. And from that game, I realized that I belonged in that league, and I belonged with this team. And, you know, the coaches believed in me. They put the ball in my hands, being the point guard, and wanted me to run the team. So just knowing that they had my back, my teammates had my back, you know, I was like, I can play here. I can go out here and smash it. I'm just going to continue to work, continue to be better. And that's what I did the whole season. And, you know, towards the end of the season, the last 5-10 games, you know, I was really good. So
it's crazy, and it's like that. The confidence that you get is from all the work you put in first.
Exactly.
You have to put it in so much further before you actually see it.
That's right. I mean, it takes a while. You know, sometimes you can be working and you don't see improvements. But it's the long term that, you know, you really do start to see the improvements. So I think that is the thing, you know, as a kid, you know, you can be working so hard, but you expect to be, you know, so much better the next week, but you're not really seeing it. But it really is the long term, you know, that you do start to see those improvements coming in. Next
year, just some dream sort of things that you might already be visualizing in your head. Like, what's come across for you being like, all right, next year when I'm playing this and I pop up against this player.
I mean, my favorite player growing up was Russell Westbrook. So I'm hoping to share the court with him, you know, be able to play against him or be on his team, whatever it may be. You know, next season, I'm sure once I step foot on the court and realize, wow, this is the guy that I idolized growing up. I used to watch his highlights, post him on my story, all that sort of stuff. You know, I'm sure that'll be a special moment. And then there's obviously LeBron James, who I think is the GOAT, being able to share the court with him. But I can't give these guys too much credit now if I'm going to be playing against them. So, you know, we'll keep that quiet.
Awesome, man. So good. Yeah. Last sort of message would be like that I think has been unbelievable today. Like any young sort of boy or girl like looking to get into elite sport has to listen to this show, because you can learn so much from this episode. But what would you say to any kid that is like looking to get into elite sport?
Man, you just got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to go out there and, you know, put in the work. You know, for me, you know, growing up, I always had that self-belief and love what you do. If you don't love what you do, then there's no point in doing it, because I feel like, you know, with sport, it's, you know, you play it for so long that you got to be able to love what you do if you want to play it at the highest level, because once you do get to the highest level, it is a business, and you know, you got to you know, be able to perform every day to, you know, stay in it. But just love what you do, you know, put in the work every day, be better than the person behind you, and you know, have fun with it. I think that's the main thing. Just go out there, have fun with it. And I'm not no motivational speaker, but you know, I like to. For me, it's every day putting in the work, and then, you know, you'll see the improvements, you know, in the long term.
Love it, brother. Love it. Last one, I promise. Signing a deal with basketball sneakers.
Yeah.
You can take your pick right now. Who is it?
It's so tough. Because, you know,
Gazies?
I love my Nikes, I love my Pumas. So those are probably the main two right now. But, you know, obviously there's going to be a bit more money in, you know, one side of it. But
maybe we have to hold off and wait to see who
we'll
we sign with.
We'll have to hold off and see who's going to offer the biggest. But, I mean, I'm probably a Nike guy right now. But, you know, Nike has the most athletes. They probably, you know, going to offer the least amount of money. But I mean, I'm a Nike guy right now, but you know, any other shoe brand, you know, come hit me up and we'll discuss.
We'll discuss. Okay. Yeah. We'll discuss us. We'll do that together. That'd be good, man. Thank you so much for your time today, brother. I'm so excited to follow your career. Honored to have you in the studio. It really is, man. I appreciate your time. Yeah, learned a lot today, so I'm really excited to see what happens.
Nah, for sure. Appreciate it. Dyl Friends. Make sure you watch.
We're going to come over to the States and do an episode as well.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. I'm going to keep you guys in the loop. So, no, for sure.
Love it, brother. Thank you.